Notifications, I'm going to turn them off because they're annoying, aren't they? If I can figure out how to turn them off.
Just unmute myself.
I don't even know how to do it. Sorry, Anne. Your camera's doing that thing again, Phil. You haven't got your mic on or your earbuds in, mate.
I was muted.
Hey.
Ron YouTube removed that upload link, so now they just have a drag and drop file, so I can't paste the link in there anymore. That's annoying.
Oh, that's a new thing, is it?
Well, before I could paste the link so it would like connect the video, but now it took that away. Darn. Okay, nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, Annie, I'm going to give you a blast while Phil's busy doing that. Whoever else is watching, we've got Air Dragon and Air to cut through the darkness into the light. That is serious tonight.
All right.
Phil, you ready?
Well, I'm Phil.
And I'm Phil.
Welcome to another episode of the Phil and Phil Show.
You almost got serious then, Phil. That was really good.
Serious. Aye.
You did. You were nearly serious, mate. And then you realised that you were being serious, so you chilled out and laughed. Well caught.
Is that a nervous laugh, or is it? Am I supposed to be serious, or I don't know? One of those.
It's what it was, mate. That's fine.
What it was. All right.
So we're ready. We're recording. We're live on YouTube. How did brand new Tube go?
No, it's kaput.
Oh, really?
They changed their settings. I don't know how to do it now.
Huh.
They used to have 2 links, and now there's only one, and you have to upload a file. So I'll have to download this file and upload it. Pain in the butt.
Oh, so that means we can't go live then at the same time as YouTube?
Yeah, and it wasn't really going live. It was just like uploading it at the same time.
Oh, okay. So people couldn't watch it on their live stream then?
There isn't. Yeah, they still haven't figured out their live stream on that channel.
Well, so, the trials and tribulations of doing our best to run a show. Well, Phil's best to run a show, to be fair, because he's the technical guy, right?
Phil just worries about his lighting over there, so.
Yeah, I worry about my lighting and to make sure that it doesn't go in my glasses like that.
It's the lights of your eyes, Phil.
Oh, thank you, darling. I'll take that. So, Phil, how's your week been?
It's been all right. Yep. Still just taking care of Susan and, ups and downs with that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe if I come back from my screen a little bit, I won't get quite so much glare going on. So yesterday I dry fasted, Phil, for 19 hours.
Wow.
And then I broke it with lemon water and then I had a watermelon smoothie, and then I had, well, when I say a watermelon smoothie, blended watermelon, right? So it's just watermelon cut out, put in the blender, whizzed up, watermelon smoothie. It's great because I think watermelon is like 93% water.
Mhm.
And then I had a smoothie. So basically, the smoothie is the solidest thing I've been eating. So that was 23 hours, I think. And then today, again, I dry fasted for 17 hours, and then lemon water, then apple and lemon juice. And then a while after that, obviously there's little interludes between, probably half an hour between the lemon water and the apple and lemon juice. And then about an hour or so, maybe 2 hours after that, was watermelon smoothie again. And then 6:30ish, 6 o'clock then was smoothie, and that's it again then.
So why'd you do that? Just felt like doing it?
Yeah, I just got the urge. Just it just helps every now and again, just to get a bit of a deeper cleanse going on in the body, a bit of a deeper detox.
Do you find that hard now, or is it's just the flow? You just decide you're doing it and then you do it, or is it challenging? Do you feel like
Do you know what? Every day is different. So yesterday was dead easy. I sailed through
Mhm.
and did 19 hours, easy. I got a bit of a headache, which is unusual. When I drive fast, I don't normally get a headache, but I got a bit of a headache
Mhm.
yesterday, and then it was fine. It all went away. But it does start to pull. It starts to pull on the bowel wall. It pulls on the kidneys. It starts to pull a little bit. When I say that, what I'm saying is the detox. It starts to just pull that little bit deeper on tissue that probably it hasn't pulled on before. So it stirs stuff up. I could have probably gone and done with a colonic. Really, that's probably what I needed. But of course, you can't get one of those at the moment in this environment, and again, you can't get them at very short notice either.
we can probably
Uh,
get one if you wear a full hazmat suit, but then how they're going to get in? That could be a problem.
yeah, that's true. I could have a little slit like they do with their masks to drink their coffee.
You do have a full hazmat suit, I assume,
Of course. How do you think I go out of the house?
with oxygen tanks, the whole thing. So,
Absolutely, I can't leave without one, or I just stay in. Do you know what I mean? It's just get the
so
full. No, Phil. So
oh,
yeah, it's just a little bit, it's just trying to get a little bit more clarity. Do you know what I mean? Just
mhm,
doing, just doing what I can.
right.
Um, and tomorrow I'm off to work, so it will be. I don't know. I'll see what the morning brings tomorrow. Whether I shall probably pack my smoothie up and take it with me. I think.
So you can get watermelon a lot over there. Is that year round? You're able to get it,
Yeah, not organic though.
right?
But according to some friends of mine that do deep tissue detoxification and rejuvenation, they say that there's very little pesticides sprayed on watermelons.
Mm,
And of course I peel it.
okay.
I throw away the kind of half an inch. Well, I don't throw it away. I put it on the compost. The
Hmm.
half an inch, the outside sort of half an inch.
You probably
Uh,
wouldn't think it would be something that insects would attack so much. It's pretty tough skin. So,
yeah, absolutely. So apparently, if someone's got any other information, then share it with us because I'd like to know. So
right.
yeah, they come from Spain.
Hmm.
Um, I like just it's just part of my lifestyle now. I have half a water. Well, I have a liter of blended watermelon, not every day, but maybe I won't have one tomorrow because I haven't got any, and that means I've got to go shopping. And do I want to go specifically shopping for watermelon? Don't know. We'll see. See what time I finish work, and I'm not working anywhere near shops tomorrow, so I don't know.
Right.
So I just have to see. But I do my best. Yeah, watermelon every day. Great for the kidneys. Great for hydration. It's actually really good for lots of trace minerals and things as well, especially the seeds.
Hmm.
So I blend the whole lot, seeds, everything, not the rind, but the seeds and all the flesh get whizzed up.
Cool.
Yeah. So did you want to do a little meditation or something, Phil? Were you saying?
A little breathing exercise. So I've been reading a new book. It's called The Breathing Cure. It's Patrick McKeown's second book. He had the other book, Oxygen Advantage, which I might have mentioned before.
So what's the book called again, Phil? Just say that again.
The Breathing Cure.
The Breathing Cure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And it's like a 600-page book. It's like full of references. It's really comprehensive.
Wow.
Patrick is really been researching breath for a long time. And he got inspired by Butenko method. Have you heard of Butenko breathing?
Yep.
Which is really like it's really just trying to tap into natural breathing, just like easy breathing, where it's not labored and it's always nasal. Like nasal breathing is absolutely critical. Because when you do a full proper nasal breath, it actually properly stimulates the diaphragm. Whereas when you breathe in through the mouth, it tends to be fast. It tends to be chest breathing. It tends to be labored and stressed. But when you slow your breathing down and breathe through the nose, it produces a full, deep, proper breath. And obviously we've got the natural filtration through the nose. Another really interesting thing about nasal breathing is, I think there's like little receptors in the nose that release nitric oxide. And people have got this whole thing about energy in nitrous oxide. So when you breathe through the nose slowly, the air coming in through the nose picks up that nitric oxide, takes it into the lungs, and it's absorbed into the body. So it's good. Proper nasal breathing will give you more energy.
Oh, wow.
And he's got some different techniques, like if you find if you're snoring at night or you wake up with a dry mouth, you can put a little bit of tape on your mouth and tape your mouth so that you will properly nasal breathe, and you won't wake up with a dry mouth. It's just like a fabric tape, so it's like it doesn't really stick that much. So
that's what my sister was talking about, and I stuck it on. I did that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a mouth breather at night anyway, but man, it didn't do anything for me.
Well, so you tried it a couple of times, or
yes, yeah, no, I did it a few times.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got healthy breathing and you're only breathing through your nose, it's probably not going to give you any benefit necessarily. So, if you're not snoring, if you breathe naturally, then it's not going to be an issue. So.
Oh, what was that? Oh,
so, yeah. So I was thinking I would just do a little exercise I just learned in the book yesterday. Just take us through one cycle of breath. It's kind of a more energetic breathing. It's like a mix of the different methods of breathing. So we're going to take 5, then we'll take 6 deep breaths, and then we're going to hold it on the exhale. I think I'll just guide through it. We'll see how we do. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah. First, we'll just close our eyes, focus for a minute. Coming into the present moment. And then we'll take 6, and these are going to be through the nose, 6 full deep breaths. So 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the exhale, hold it for as long as you can until you have a natural inclination to breathe back in, whether it's like a little swallow in the throat. So just hold it as long as you can. Just on the exhale. And when you're ready, breathe in and hold it on the inhale. exhale, and then just come back to the natural breath, in and out through the nose. Notice the difference in your energy, in your consciousness. How'd that feel, Phil? Did you leave your body?
I get very Phil.
Mm-hmm. It's
Very
not nice. Yeah.
yeah.
I think you just reset in the system. So breathing is not necessarily about more oxygen. It's about the balance. And look, the nice little yawn there. Your body's like, oh, what's going on?
Bedtime. It's thinking,
yeah.
oh, bedtime.
So you reset. These different techniques are reset in the system, because good breathing is about oxygen and carbon dioxide. So when you the hunger for oxygen is actually when there's Wendy jumping in. I'll let her in there. Hunger for breath is the desire for, it's when the carbon dioxide builds up too much, so you get a certain tolerance for that. So yeah, so a little fun stuff. Highly recommended work of Patrick there. So.
Yeah, I think Wendy was listening to him because she was practicing that and doing. Oh.
Hi, Wendy.
My sister actually, Phil, is she's on a platform called, have you heard of Insight Timer?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's on Insight Timer doing yoga with Julie.
Oh, Wendy's jumping in. Hi, Wendy. Don't hear you, but hi.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I thought you was doing yoga.
I was, but then when you came on and the yoga came on, and I didn't know if I might mess up the show, so I stopped the yoga.
Oh.
But I can
So
go back.
we were just doing some, I just did a little exercise from Patrick McKeown's new book, The Oxygen Cure.
Ah.
So Phil said you do mouth taping, right?
I've had a go at that, and I thought it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
But I think Wim Hof breathing is probably better.
Well, it's different. There's totally the different techniques. So Wim Hof is more of a stressor. So it's more of something you use to like reset the system and create like a stress response. Whereas Butenko or Patrick's breathing is what you do naturally all the time. So it's resetting the natural breathing of what you do all the time, which is in and out through the nose. So it's like there's different techniques. So like the hyperventilation is kind of useful, but a lot of people, it can be too stressful. So it's more of like a energizing kind of thing. So it's different. So
yeah, it's transformational, isn't it? Wim Hof stuff is transformational.
Right.
So we're all live on YouTube, are we?
Yep, you're live. You're joining us, Wendy. So what's happening in your life there, Wendy, seeing as you joined us?
Well, my colors. You know, last week we did the colors with Priscilla.
Right. Yep.
So I went on her website. She has a free color session. You can choose colors, and I chose 3, and I emailed her and told her these are my 3 colors, and she came back with spot on what was happening for me. As Phil said, I chose the colors. Mm-hmm. If you haven't done it, then do it. It's amazing.
Yeah, so what I was saying, Phil, when Wendy said, "Oh, I picked the colors," and she was spot on. It's like, actually, you were spot on because you picked the colors. And what she did was just told you what they represented and what they meant in your life. Mm-hmm. So your body always knows what color to choose to get the correct feedback. It's like a biofeedback machine, right? Mm-hmm. So the body knows exactly what's going on, and we just half the time we just pretend that we don't know.
Well, we don't know, do we?
What were your colors? Well, we do, but we forget.
Oh, now my colors. I don't know how quickly I can tell you
That's all right.
what my colors were.
But the body is like this, like the more we can tune in, the more it's got information for us all the time. And
Okay, so the colors I chose, one was called Fire, one
Mhm.
was called Blue Angel, and
Mhm.
one was 27.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
I can't think what bottle 27 is.
What did
It's
they
my
mean for you
birthday.
then? It's your birthday?
27.
It's also my birth number because I'm a 27-9, so it breaks. You know that 27 then breaks down to in numerology to 9.
So what do those colors mean for you then, Wendy?
She said, well, according to the colors, you're ready to let go of feeling small. In order to do this and take your power back, it's important for you to express your truth. So you are being told now that it's safe to speak your truth and express whatever you need to in the moment. There is a sense of safety around you at the moment and protection as you step into your power. You may feel that you need to take one step at a time to avoid being overwhelmed, but as you take the next step into the new version of you, speaking your truth and you're asserting yourself to the next level, it'll feel like a level of completeness, end of a cycle, so to speak. What this means is no more putting in a lot of effort and not getting much back. The time has come for you to create and manifest what it is you want in your life as you step into your authentic power.
So what's your truth then, Wendy?
I can't tell you yet because it hasn't happened yet. I can't announce it loud on YouTube until I've done my
This is the time.
Okay, next Sunday I'll tell you.
All right.
Oh, is it you're going to announce it before next Sunday then, Wendy?
Yeah.
Oh wow, cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Actually, there is more to this.
Okay.
Shall I read the rest of it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Could you imagine that every motion, and then in brackets it says energy and motion, sits at a particular vibration or frequency? And if you could then imagine that every color sits at a particular frequency read by your chakra system. If you can imagine this, then you might get an idea as to where these color clues have come from. The reading that you've just done doesn't define you as a person. It simply shows where your vibration sits at present and what you're deciding, consciously or subconsciously, to change or let go of. Sometimes it's helpful to receive confirmation of what you already know, so you know that you're on track, or at least bring it into your conscious awareness more.
Good.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
Brilliant.
yeah.
So I was showing Phil, Wendy, about the vitamin D test that you bought me for my birthday.
Yes.
And so Wendy did one, Phil, a few weeks ago, and she got her results back that were amazing.
Oh.
In England, I've forgotten what the little magic number is afterwards, but you're supposed to have between 35 and 75, whatever it is, per whatever in your blood of vitamin D. And of course, that's way too low. You need at least 100.
Yeah.
And Wendy's was 95.
Why do you think yours is so good, Wendy?
Because I take vitamin D3, K2, and magnesium.
And how much D are you taking?
I usually take about 3,000 units a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's D3 and K2.
So is that D3 and K2 in the same bottle, Wendy?
Yeah, the oral spray.
Yep. And how much magnesium do you think you take?
Very little. I don't know if you're familiar with the capsules we get from your supplier, Phil.
Oh yeah.
So just one of those that's very little.
What, just a magnesium citrate or the Mag Supreme?
Supreme.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's different. So my friend does a magnesium fill called Magnesium Supreme, where he's blended different magnesiums together, and the main one of those is mag citrate. Of all the years of testing, mag citrate is the best absorbed one that he's found.
So I'm gonna let you two carry on. I'll watch you.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Wen. Bye.
We put you on the spot there. Thanks, Wendy.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, well done, Phil.
What?
So
Yeah, magnesium is a big one for people. A lot of people are deficient in magnesium. I'm not really sure why, but it is a really important mineral. Maybe it's not enough greens in the diet, or I don't know. I mean, maybe modern life just burns it out of you or something. So,
Well,
I mean,
now we're on that subject.
soils are deficient.
now we're on that subject. I'll be back. I was just reading a bit on it yesterday. It might be helpful for some people, Phil.
Okay.
I woke up nice and early this morning, so I started reading, and then of course I fell asleep. I went back to sleep again.
Well, I've been taking magnesium. It's been helpful for my heart. So when I was like, if I feel it like my heart's a little bit off, I take magnesium in warm water, and it immediately feels better. So I think I'm a little bit depleted in magnesium for some reason.
Well, stress is one of the biggest burners of magnesium, Phil.
Ah, okay.
I'm just
So that would be magnesium and then B vitamins as well. So
magnesium, okay. Magnesium alkaline forming. Food sources are all fruits and vegetables, especially dark leafy greens, seaweeds, nuts, seeds, dried fruits, potatoes, sesame seeds, alfalfa, figs, brown rice, kelp, pineapple, honey, celery, whole grain products, although we don't like whole grain products.
no.
Almonds, avocados, bananas, apples, peaches. For those people that eat them, lima beans, black-eyed peas, wheat germ and brown rice. They've said like whole grains a few times in there. I don't understand. It says toxic source is water. I don't get.
Well,
So,
that's interesting.
yeah. So uses in the body: strengthens muscles and nerve tissue, activates many enzymes, especially in carbohydrate metabolism. Needed for proper bone and teeth formation, conditions liver and glands, stimulates elimination, may help combat stress, maintain muscle contractions, and aid in adaptation to cold and regulation of normal heart rhythm. There you go. May reduce effects of lead poisoning and reduce kidney stones, also blood albumin. May reduce the effects of blood albumin. So no, alcohol, diuretics, emotional or physical stress, diarrhea, zinc and fluoride increases the need for magnesium.
Well, stress is a big one for people. So I think during this time, another reason to be taking magnesium. So
yeah, absolutely. And another great way of getting magnesium is using a really cheap source for people that's brilliant is Epsom salts, magnesium sulfate. Because
so you take that in the bath, but not internally, right?
Yes,
yeah.
In the bath. So put that one in the bath.
Yeah.
And you can use, you can use a generous amount. You can do anything from like a handful to a kilo in the bath. And
wow.
The good thing about magnesium sulfate, Epsom salts in the bath is it also it also supplies sulfur. So you get magnesium and sulfur in the body, but it also pulls out toxins. So it's really good for getting toxins out of joints. So that's why it's good if you've got a bath to get your ankles, knees, hips, elbows, shoulders, all the joint areas actually in the water, or depending on how big you are, or how big the bath is, or how deep the bath is, whatever. You could spend 5 or 10 minutes with like your waist down, and then 5 or 10 minutes with your top half. So you can then, you can get it in and it pulls out.
Yeah, I mean, you can always just do the feet if you need that, because you've got a lot of acupressure points on the feet, and you're definitely going to absorb it. You can absorb a lot through the feet. you ever done that thing where you put like some essential oil on the bottom of your feet and then you can taste it?
No, I've never.
So if you put oregano on your feet, sometimes you can kind of taste it in your mouth.
Wow. Yeah, that's what they're saying, isn't it, about rubbing onions on your feet?
Mm-hmm.
If you rub onions or garlic on your feet, you can taste it.
Yeah, it goes through the whole body. So yeah.
Yeah, really quickly. So yeah, magnesium is a really it's a really useful thing. But you know any of these supplements, you've got to be really careful with high dosing, because you know what we don't really know yet is if you're taking a high dose of anything, what else does it then knock
Right.
out of balance or deplete?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the scary thing about D. I mean, magnesium's probably not that bad. It probably just flushes out. But D, I think there's a lot of unknowns there about D.
Well, D is also it's liver toxic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're not, you know, that's extreme.
Right.
Way that's that I'm going to repeat that. That's extreme intake levels. I mean, I took 50,000 IUs a day for 3 months.
Wow.
That's a massive amount, and it
Yeah.
changes stuff, but you have to be really careful.
Right.
So when people are taking somewhere between 3 and 10,000 IUs a day through the dark days, the winter months, you're fine.
Right.
So I think that's one of the keys is take it through the winter, get out in the sunshine in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not doing long times. But you know, for adults, for most of us, 3,000 IUs a day is definitely safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but going through what we've just been going through with viruses, you know, if there's a virus prevalent in the area, flu, colds, wherever they are, then up your vitamin D to 5 to 10,000 IUs a day.
Pretty much anyone that's really educated in this is recommending vitamin D to help, you know, knock out viruses for sure. So
yeah, absolutely. But it's like if someone's taking 500 IUs of vitamin D a day, and there's a virus present, it's not going to do anything, and they're going to say, "Oh, it doesn't work."
Right. Yeah. Or they're taking really low quality, like stuff from GNC or whatever it is over.
Yeah.
What do you have over there? What's that?
Holland and Barrett, GNC, all those.
GNC. Yeah, it's just crap.
So what we need to do is you know, if there's a high risk, up your dose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know that with the one that's around at the moment, there's lots of fear, but what you've got to weigh up is it in your area? Is it around you at that moment? Because it's not everywhere all of the time.
Right.
But what we have to do is be sensible about it, and then boost the vitamin D accordingly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're taking 3,000 to 5,000 IUs a day anyway, and then if there's a chance that you know of getting something, 10,000 IUs a day for a short length of time. You know, get a test on as well. It's actually a vitamin D test. This is the one I showed Phil earlier.
I'm going to check that out.
Which?
And a few years ago, a really unique form of D came out in the UK. It was maybe 10 years ago, which is coming from lichen, which is that's the stuff that grows on the rocks. So originally it was all out of sheep's wool, which is abundant in the UK too as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sheep's wool in the UK is abundant. Do you know what? They throw it away now. It's wool is in the UK is kind of worthless, and yet it's an amazing material.
They just throwing it away. They're just using synthetic fibers now.
Most of the time, yeah.
Just crazy. You have sheep everywhere.
I know, and the whole you know, the whole vegan movement on this front. You know, I think this is where we have to look at stuff you know, carefully.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's like anything, mass produce anything that's not looked after is terrible. But you know, when people are rearing sheep and looking after sheep in a loving way, shearing them, yeah, of course it causes them a little bit of stress, but it isn't a big deal.
Right. Yeah, and I think that make that the focus. How, like, shear these animals with love, like take care of them. You know, it's like, whereas opposed to vegan leathers and vegan everything, it's like, well, what's the impact of that on the planet? Like,
well, you know,
yeah.
What's the impact on the planet, but also what's the impact on our personal health? You know, this is something we have to really take into consideration. And you know, both you and I, we're basically vegan. But it's like we got to look at the, you know, we've got to look at the picture of it all, look at what's going on, and you know, I'm not saying this is a good excuse. Sheep have been kept for wool for generations, well, generations, thousands of years,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, woolen products are actually some of the best products that you can get for warmth, longevity, and everything else. So I think what we've got to do is look at the husbandry and really start to focus on the love and the care and the compassion instead of the pound notes, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about throwing a baby out with the bathwater. It's about let's look at this educate, let's look at it in an educated way. Let's educate ourselves, let's educate the people, let's educate the farmers and say, hey, look, you know, if you want to sell your wool, you've got to look after your sheep well. You've got to really take care of your sheep.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I think the husbandry and taking care of stuff, you know, years ago, like my great uncle, he used to shear sheep. He was so loving, you know, he was so compassionate, so empathic.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he was so gentle with his dogs and his animals, you know, and there's probably a time where the sheep are grateful, you know, in England when it starts to get hot, they're probably, it's like, oh God, get this off of me.
Yeah.
They're probably grateful.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I can hear myself talking, going, really, do you believe that stuff? Do you really get that? And it's difficult. But you know, certain animal products are, there's nothing else like it. There's nothing else that really compares to wool, for example, or sustainability on a level, you know, because the sheep fertilize all the ground. Years ago, when my dad was farming, what they used to do was they plant the winter wheat, then they put the sheep in it.
Mm-hmm.
So all winter, the sheep would be on the winter wheat, they'd be grazing, they'd be pooping, and they'd also, the weight of the sheep where they used to walk on the wheat tightens it all and causes stress in the wheat, which causes a stronger crop.
Interesting.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So that way the sheep were fed, the crop was fertilized, walked in, and then the sheep were sheared.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, all the way through that is, you know, to me, lots of people are going to disagree, and that's fine, but that's harmonious. You know, again, as long as the sheep are looked after well.
Yeah, we've got to get back to harmonious ways and get like this dogma of like, okay, it's got to be vegan at all costs. It's like, well, no, like that's what's happening. Like, so the synthetic fiber, it's from oil products, it's got petrochemicals, there's other chemicals used to make that product, and then it sits on your body and you absorb those chemicals. Your body can't breathe properly, as opposed to wool, which, you know, it lasts a long time.
Yeah,
it keeps you nice and warm, and then when you're done with it, it just biodegrades back into the earth. So,
yeah, you know, but also, Phil, you're saying about the petrochemical jumpers, and that's, you know, anyone that wears a fleece, it's recycled plastic bottles. And the thing with plastic derived materials on your body is it stops you receiving cosmic rays, you know. So you're not receiving universal energy and electricity through the natural field, because it kind of creates insulation. But then what do you do with it? What on earth do you do? You know, you've got a fleece that's no use because it's threadbare, but it's got a shelf life of like 500 years. What do you do with it?
right.
And the thing with sheep's wool is, because it's, you know, it's a living entity, even when it's shorn off, it allows, it attracts. I remember Gabriel Cousins talking about this. It allows and attracts the natural cosmic rays into the body, so it doesn't isolate you, and it isolate you. It doesn't. Interesting, isn't it? If you're insulated, you become isolated. So it's an I'm not saying I'm right. It's just because I can hear, as I'm talking, I can hear it. So
Well, yeah, let's talk about leather too. Like you might get a horror shock on that, and it's like the leather industry is terrible in general. Like this,
Phil,
animals.
I just learned something yesterday, which, or the other day on Instagram, some guy I think it was Plant Based News. Great video. Well, great. That's a bit controversial. Great video.
Educational.
Educational, yeah, very educational. And what I didn't realize was in the dairy industry, they take all the boy cows, all the boy cows are taken off of the mother, so they're not suckling, and then some of them get castrated and I now know they're what we used to call bullocks when we were kids. They get the horns chopped off, they get demasculated, and then they get put in the meat industry. But the rest of the bull calves, they actually go straight to the slaughterhouse, and that's the leather that they then use. And it's like, oh my God. I knew it was bad, but that's instant, and it's terrible. It's a terrible. It's terrible. That's just, that. It's just that's beyond words, because they just get torn away from their mother very, very, very early on, and took straight to the slaughterhouse.
Yeah. Well, it's a commodity system, and that's the thing. And then to process that leather, tons of chemicals are used to process it. So again, it's almost the same as synthetic. So arguing that, but as opposed to traditional ways, Native American ways, or traditional ways where it's like use the whole animal, and animals die, you use its leather, and it's like it's finding the more harmonious way to use these things. And I think Will Lord, who we interviewed, probably does stuff like that. It's like more of a harmony with the environment. So, which is hard when there's a lot of people who have demands,
And all the stuff that we had on the show with Will Lord, he does it. He does all the tanning naturally. He uses all natural products. And I know years ago they used to use urine to cure the leather. I don't know the process, but I know people would have a pot. That old expression, "I haven't got a pot to piss in." They would piss in their pot, take it to the people that cure the leather, and get paid for it.
Right.
So it's interesting, isn't it? So it's all, and I say all, everything has got out of hand. I was gonna say it's got out of control, which is interesting when we're in the time of the most control ever. Everything's out of control,
right,
on a level. And yet it's very controlled.
Right.
Everything's controlled, and yet, in my opinion, we're totally out of control.
Right, and these controls are things that are just totally unsustainable. Like, okay, everybody wear a mask. Carbon dioxide is bad. We almost get injected with exactly the same drug or vaccine or gene therapy. It's like all of these controls and these systems that are just whacked out and doing more harm to the human, more harm to the environment. It's almost like, it just feels like the world's gone mad, on some levels. There's a lot of awake people who are really conscious, and then there's this other extreme where it's just absolute madness. It makes no sense.
But have you got music playing over there?
I haven't. I think the wife has. So it's 1 second. Let me change my settings here. I can barely hear it, which is interesting. Is that better?
Just come back up again. Now I can't hear you. Oh, so it looks like I'm on my own. So yeah, this is a bit of an interesting. Phil's just gone to try and turn the music down out there. Interesting part of the show, probably very controversial for some people. Yeah, challenges my beliefs, challenges my opinions. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I've got it all sussed. There's just some harmony to be had in the middle of it all. Natural products are, well, they're natural, they're nature, they're part of nature, part of us. Hey, Phil.
What are we talking about?
I was just saying about, the conversation that we've just been having is probably very controversial with some people.
Right.
But, there's, and, it's a challenge for both of us, because I know we both feel about it, but it's trying to look at something and I don't like this word either, but in a balanced viewpoint. It's about, looking at, not throwing it all out, not getting rid of it all, not, not because, yeah, I'm just very, what's the word at the moment? Suspicious about this whole new vegan movement coming through, because what they're doing is they're swapping animal products for crap, toxic, pretend, fake animal products. They're swapping animal products for fake products.
Right.
This doesn't make sense. So clearly I don't agree. I'm not eating animal products, clearly. So I'm not on that side of the fence. Something's got to shift. It's got to give. But, people are complaining about the way animals are kept, which totally I agree with. The quality of the meat is shit. The quality of the industry is terrible. Not the whole industry. We can't again whitewash
Right.
everything on the whole, because it's become mass produced. There's been so much demand for it all that it's just, once again, it's out of control.
Right.
So we need to bring it all back. We need to bring it back down to nature.
Well, it's and it's the holistic view that we need to have. So it kind of reflects the way we treat the human when they get sick. We focus on the symptom and we try and fix that symptom. It's like this very narrow view, when really, when we're looking at human health, we want to look at a holistic view. So when we look at the impact of animal agriculture, we don't want to go, oh, that's bad, let's replace it with this. Like, well, we need to look at, well, what are we going to replace it with? Let's look at the whole view. Okay, so if we choose this synthetic meat, how is it processed? How does it affect the body? How does it affect the environment? Where did it come from? And if you factor all this in, you're like, oh, we don't want this synthetic product because it's bad for the environment. It's bad for human health. The only thing it does is it maybe reduces animal suffering, but we can't even say it does or doesn't do that. We don't really know, so because there's the impact on the environment, which hurts animals in the long run. So,
also at the moment, there's all this awareness, there's all this energy, there's all this focus going on animal welfare. What about human welfare, right? What about human welfare? How about how we speak to each other, how we are with each other, how we treat ourselves? Do you know what I mean? It's like, wow. Talk about the human cruelty. I see human cruelty going on all of the time. Whenever I go outside, I see humans suffering, and I see humans being cruel to themselves. They're poisoning themselves,
right,
all of the time.
Yeah.
It's just this is what we got to look at. We got to have compassion for ourselves, compassion for our fellow human beings. That's where it's got to start. I know some people have to start with the compassion for animals, but once you get compassion for yourself and your fellow human beings, it all changes.
You immediately have compassion for the animals. Like, I didn't get into this for animal welfare. I got into it for health, and it was like, oh, well, I don't want to hurt the animals either, so.
Yeah, it feels the same for me, right? Mine was, I was really sick, really ill, and I had to nurse myself back to health. And once I got compassion for myself, I got true compassion for the animals, right? Especially with my background of what my background used to be. It's a long journey, but what's interesting is the gamekeepers and people that I spent a lot of time with growing up were very compassionate about the animals. It's really interesting. Not all of them, but the majority of the keepers that I knew, family members and great friends of the family, they had so much respect, and they could tell you about, they knew what time animals did, whatever they did. They studied them. It wasn't just about killing whatever you can, which is what people think it is.
Right.
It's about studying, seeing what time they do what, where, and when. What do they do? Are they going to create harm to the chickens or whatever it is? It's just knowing and being totally in tune with it all. I can't go back to that lifestyle.
Right.
It's not something I want to do, and it's actually not something I particularly agree with. I don't agree with it at all. But it's like they're not horrible people, most of them are actually totally in tune with nature and what's going on around them.
Right.
You know, it's different to what most people consider, and they had more compassion for the animals than most other people that I've met in my life, which is really interesting.
Especially these smaller scale farmers, you know, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, and looking back to me when I was young, I didn't know any. It's not that I didn't know any better. I didn't know anything else. That's all I knew, and that's all I wanted to do, and I loved it. So it's been a real journey for me and my family, for me coming through the way that I've come through on it. But it's compassion. We have to have compassion. You know, that's the thing my journey has actually taught me, is having compassion for myself then creates compassion for everything else, even these little flies that are annoying me right now. You know, it's about compassion for everything. Everything has its place.
Yeah. And I think that's such an important message right now. And I think I want to take it to heart is like, there's a lot of different opinions, and we can get upset, we can get angry. There's people arguing about their different viewpoints, and it's a breakdown. It's a breakdown because of the way people eat, because we've just got out of balance. And it's like, well, how do we? I mean, we just need to step into having compassion and appreciation from where every person is at, you know.
And that also, Phil, takes me on then to you know, crazy behavior. There's more crazy people in the world now than there's ever been, certainly in my lifetime.
Right.
And people are eating crazy chemicals, right? They've made sugar into the bad guy and made aspartame into the lifesaver. Well, aspartame isn't going to save anybody. Aspartame makes people go mental, literally mental. You know, it creates Alzheimer's, it creates brain disorders, it creates behavioral disorders, it creates dysfunction in children. You know, it's evil and it's poisonous. And yes, sugar's not far behind it, but it's like they're swapping one poison for another poison and just telling everyone it's great. It's not great. You know, sweeteners, dates, right? Amazing. Dates are an amazing source of sugar. Fruit is an amazing source of sugar. So there's all this fear around sugar and this love of aspartame and other, I can't think what the other one is, sorbitol.
Erythritol, even those natural ones, you know, they're just nuts. They create there's a book called Excitotoxins, Russell Blaylock, which it basically just creates this whole cascade in the body. It messes up the digestive system, which is where the neurotransmitters. It messes up the brain. It's that thing. It's like, oh, sugar is bad. It's like, no, isolated sugar is bad. Sugar is bad, so let's replace it with this synthetic sugar that has even worse effects on the body.
It's crazy, right? You know, and the thing that I've learned is the more fruit based I go, which is, you know, the interesting thing is the more fruit based I go, I don't crave sugar because I'm getting my sugar fix in the fruit, right?
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. I'm not doing what everyone else thinks. I'm not putting on weight, as you can see. I don't have sugar spikes. I don't have sugar cravings. You know, I don't have any of those things associated with a high fruit diet. Now, my diet is mega high in fruit because I'm basically eating fruit now. That's my food source. Yeah. You know, watermelons. You know, a litre of watermelon, how much sugar's in that?
Right.
I don't get it. Actually, now I get no sugar spikes. The watermelon stabilizes me in the afternoon, which is really interesting. It lifts me up like I've had something, you know, nice. It's like, wow, it's smooth. You know, it's a smooth. It's not a hyper lift. It's just a gentle lift, and the lift for me now just goes up like that. And then it just comes back down again like that because I need more fuel. Watermelon goes through the body in like 20 minutes, half an hour.
Right.
So, you know, you get that pickup because you've had fuel, and then I don't get a drop off It's just the same as any other fuel, right? You get that lift because you've got extra fuel in a body, and then you very slowly, you need more fuel.
Simple.
But it's, I think the problem.
But it's, yeah, that's different than this drop. Like it's like you took the sugar, the body absorbs it really fast, burns it up, and it's like, oh, I need more of that.
The interesting thing is, though, Phil, it doesn't absorb it any quicker than it absorbs sugar from watermelons.
It doesn't.
No, what the whole idea with fruit sugar is it's a simple sugar, so the body
Right.
absorbs it in seconds. But the
But
cell,
it's different though. It's in its holistic form, so it's a different kind of thing. You know. So,
exactly. But all I'm saying, what I was saying there is,
mhm.
it's absorbed very quickly. So it isn't
Right.
the speed with which it's absorbed,
Hmm.
because what happens is fruit sugars are absorbed very quickly, but they're utilized.
Right. Well, it's within the structured molecule of the watermelon. It's still in that natural form and that natural structure.
It's not
So
isolated.
there's other vitamins, there's minerals, just different things associated with that sugar. It's not on its own, as it were. So
Absolutely. So
that's the world today. It's the whole isolation of everything, and that's where it becomes an issue.
isolation, insulation, yeah, absolutely, Phil. And the other thing is fat.
Mhm.
You know, if you're on a high fat diet and a high fruit diet, I think you're in trouble. You know, I think you're going to be in trouble. I remember Doug Graham, he wrote the book. Do you know Doug Graham, 80-10-10?
Yeah. Hmm.
And I met Doug and I sat and had a conversation with him and his wife just after I'd come back from the Tree of Life.
Hmm.
And they were like, fruit. So it's 80% fruit, basically, 10% greens, 10% fat. Man, my brain just would not let me get around that one. Because of course I'd just been training with Gabriel Cousins, which was, and at that time it was a zero glycemic diet that I was, you know, really into. And at the Tree then it was quite a lot of fat. So it's really interesting. But yeah, that's, you know, the thing that I can tell you from my experiences now, I feel better on fruit and very little fat than I ever did on fat and no fruit, you know, or even carbs and anything and no fruit. The fruit for me has really stabilized my being, stabilized my personality. It's, yeah, I mean, it's just made so much difference. But that's been with definitely with low fat.
I do think there's an individualization there, though. I think some people can do better with more fat. I know Gabriel does, and he's got mass amounts of energy, clarity in the brain, and he does more fat, you know. So
Yeah.
But I think it's up to each individual to find that balance.
But he's not doing the fruit though, is he?
He does some fruit, you know. He does
Yeah.
fruit, a little bit of fruit every day, but not a lot. So
Yeah.
he's
So,
not
yeah.
like, so he does have the strict like no fruit thing, but you know, once everything's balanced, he does eat fruit. So
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
anti-fruit, as it were. So
Yeah. Yeah, just he was no fruits to stabilize the system, wasn't he?
yeah, I mean, he was dealing with people with hyperglycemia and, you know, diabetes, stuff like that. So, but I think there's a balance. I think people, yeah, I'm not 100%. Like, I think there's a balance between the two. I think that you need that fruit because there's such amazing things in fresh fruit for sure. So,
I think the thing that really needs to be talked about, Phil, is transitioning.
mhm.
You know, I think that's really crucial for everybody to understand, whether you're going to a high raw diet, a raw diet, a fruit diet, a veggie diet, whatever it is, the transitional period, high fat, low fat, which what, you know, whatever it is, it's a real, you need to take your time, go slow and transition through stuff. Then you can experiment, you know, and find out what suits you. Because, you know, if you look at Dr. Robert Morse, he's all about the fruit. You know, his thing is all about the fruit to heal. And I know with Gabriel, there was no fruit to heal. So
Right.
Gabriel used the no fruit, with no sweetness to stabilize, and Robert Morse uses fruit to stabilize. So
Different approaches. It's interesting.
it is, the thing with Morse is, though, when you're doing the all fruit diet to heal, no fat. So it's interesting, you know, apart from obviously all fruit's got an element of fat to it, but it's but certainly, you know, no isolated fats. And that's something I've definitely found in more recent times, learning about isolated sugars, isolated fats, like olive oil, coconut oil. They're not natural. They're not a natural product. And I would have argued over that 2 or 3 years ago, but now it's like they're not natural. Olive oil is contained in olives. Coconut oil is contained in coconuts. If you want to follow a whole food diet, you can't follow a whole food diet with separated food products. Olive oil can't be a whole food. It just, if you think about it sensibly, it's not a whole food. It's a processed manufactured food, the same as coconut oil. Everyone raves about coconut oil. It's manufactured, it's processed. It's not whole. So, once you really start to refine it, which is where I feel I've got to now, is really refining stuff. It's the same as I can eat dates. I can eat kilos, pounds of dates all day long, and I'm fine. If I stick in anything like maple syrup, agave, coconut, blossom nectar, any of those really isolated sugars, I struggle. I get fungal issues. I get all sorts of stuff going on. It's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But with whole fruit, it's just, yeah. It's for me. It's a game changer. And as you know, Phil, that's took me years.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that for me has been about the detox and the cleansing of my body, so it can then cope with the sugar of the fruit, because clearly it can't cope with any concentrated honey, nothing like that. I can't do any concentrated sugar. And and again, that's just me personally, but that's what you were talking about personalizing the diet.
Totally. A couple of comments from our friend here on YouTube. He said his name. What's his name again?
Tim, I think that is.
Tim. Sorry, Tim. Hi. It goes back. It just says Tataya on there. And he was saying, on a basic level, everything on Mother Earth is made from the basic building blocks. And then, so everything has the same consciousness, just humans can't tap into it yet. I'm not quite sure what he's saying, so.
No, I don't quite. Tim, just give us a bit of clarity on that, bro, please.
I think we were talking about isolated stuff. I think it's just saying that everything comes from the basic building blocks, but that's true. But if we isolate them and try and consume them, it's going to create some sort of imbalance at some point, I would think. So.
Well, the old chestnut is just not how nature intended it, is it?
Right. He said, yes, it's me, Tim.
Sorry, mate, you're probably having a late dinner if you were waiting for us. Yeah, Tim, I know you were saying that you were going to try some things out and experiment. If there's anything else, if you've got any questions for us that we can help you with, if you want any tips or ideas, then hit us with them. We're all right. We're open to it.
Oh, when you were talking about how to treat animals, we're all on the same level. Okay, I see what he's saying. So I'm waiting for him to like chat other things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. Whether it's animals or humans, it's all the same. Birds, the bees, the humans, the dogs, the chickens.
Even plants, we all have some level of consciousness. I think that's what he's kind of tapping into. So on the grander scheme of things, yes, everything has a level of consciousness.
Absolutely.
So how we treat it is fundamental. So
yeah, this is just going to bring me on to a conversation I had on Radio Oxford a few years ago, and they were having a debate about about consuming other animals, and they were saying, well, how would you feel about you know, cows and chickens, and, you know, of course in India they'd be horrified if they were going to eat a cow, right? And of course the Chinese eat cats and dogs and all that kind of stuff, you know, and they were saying, oh, you know, how do you feel about that? Da, 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 da. And I said, well, so I phoned in and said, look, I'm a gamekeeper's son and a gamekeeper's grandson, and what you got to remember is they're all animals, they're all the same, and whatever you're doing, you're taking a life. And it doesn't matter what you call it. A life is a life. And for some reason in England, it's okay to eat a chicken or a cow, but it's not okay to eat a cat or a dog. And I know that's really controversial, but it doesn't make sense. On a level,
Right.
of course it does, but that's just our social conditioning. That's
Mhm.
just our brainwashing. Our brainwashing is, no, you don't eat your pets, you eat someone else's pet. You know? And that's, you know, I know when I was a kid and my granddad had lambs, you know, he went and got a couple of lambs, and me and my sister, we'd go down and we'd sit with their bottles because they were only young, and we'd feed them and we'd love them, and, you know, we'd pet them and cuddle them. And then Christmas time they're on the table, and you know, it's yes, of course it was sad, but we didn't know any different, and that's what we did. And, you know, they became like mine and my sister's pet. Whenever we went down, you know, for their life, we'd pet the sheep and feed them and go hang out with them.
Right.
And you know, this is what lots of people have, they've forgotten that they're animal. Whatever's going on your plate is an animal, and it has life, it has consciousness, and yeah, it's kind of all the same.
It's saying we all have some consciousness. We would treat animals, plants, humans all the same. We all need to consume energy, then pass it on. Then when we pass, our energy passes back to Mother Earth. It's nice.
Yeah, that's why I like those natural burial grounds where you get buried in the ground and then they plant a tree on you, and your nutrients feeds the tree. I think that's a great idea.
It's funny you just said that. It's like if plants are consumed from where someone has been buried, then whoever then consumes the plant, the cycle repeats. Yeah. I mean, I want to be planted under an oak tree or something, and I don't want any synthetic, you know, burial. Just bury me in the earth and plant a tree. I want to become part of the tree.
Yeah,
you know, my body, you know.
In England now, Phil, you can get these amazing willow coffins.
Mm.
So they weave them like, so it's a coffin, so it's a basket coffin made out of willow.
Ooh,
with you know, with the willow lid on it,
nice.
and you could have some hemp string to tie it all on, and yeah, bury that in the ground, stick an oak tree on it. Perfect.
Yeah. It blows me away the money and the energy and the resources that go into burying people, like in these elaborate tombs, these granite coffins, and like adorned with all these things. I'm just like, why? Like, it makes no sense to me at all. It's like, just bury me in the ground, and, you know, I'll go back to the earth. So like, and I get it. It's like it's honoring a loved one, but I think we can honor a loved one differently, rather than, you know, this. It seems like a waste of resources, and then the preservation of the human with chemicals, formaldehyde. Like, it's like, why are we doing that? It's just like, it just makes no sense.
Why they're doing that while they're still alive makes no sense. Why
Well,
are they
yeah.
preservatives and while they're alive? Because they ain't never gonna create any compost, are they?
No. Yeah.
There was a theory on that a while ago about the fact that some people might never compost because
They have so many preservatives.
they're so full of preservatives and formaldehyde that they might not even break down.
Mhm.
That'll be a problem. You couldn't grow a
Yeah.
tree on that, could you?
No.
So think about
Well,
that, folks. Your body will break down from working, but it won't break down.
Well, maybe we'll get some microorganisms. They'll do the job. So.
Yeah, it just got me thinking then about back to the fake meat thing. And I think Chad Sarno and Derek Sarno for Tesco's are doing a great job, where actually Chad's going to take on the massive fishing industry. He's going to go after them. I'm not sure quite how. I haven't seen all of that, but he's creating like like a fish substitute, and knowing Chad, it will be quite amazing. And the good thing with their products that they both make is they're clean. They really the Sarno brothers really get they really get the clean eating thing. And and with the products they're doing, they're reaching the masses, so they're not organic, but I'm sure knowing Chad, they're working on it.
I think they're using legumes for this. It's called Good Catch. And I think
wow.
The base is legumes, like 6 different legumes mixed together, it sounds like. So
Cool.
I'm sure his intent is to do a lot better than some of these other synthetic meats. So something more whole, because he has that awareness, that's for sure.
Chad's got an amazing awareness in this arena. Maybe that's someone I ought to get in touch with, Phil, and see if he wants to come on the show and have a chat with us.
That would be great.
Derek, maybe we could get Derek on afterwards, but I'll see if I'll send Chad an email and see if he wants to come on our show.
Yep. Be awesome.
See what he's doing. And and then he can actually talk to us about what he's actually doing and what's going on, and he can talk to us about the purpose of Wicked Healthy Foods and what's in the pipeline.
That's a good show. I think it's maybe coming to an end of our show this week.
I reckon we can wrap that up. Can wrap that up.
More gentle show this week. It's nice.
Do you think that was a gentle show? I thought we got into some topics there.
Well, we did, but it was, we just went with the flow. So maybe, that's probably not really gentle. We went into some heavy topics.
we got into some heavy topics.
Wendy left.
Yep. Oh, I just sent a message saying, bye, thanks for coming, and she's gone. Yeah, cool.
Said she had to go to a workshop or something. So.
Yep, she's doing a workshop, bless her.
Great. Well, I'm Phil.
And I'm Phil.
And you've just participated in another episode of the Phil and Phil Show.
So thanks, guys, for watching. We really appreciate you. Like we said before, if there's any subjects that you want us to touch on, share about, get someone in to talk about, let us know. We'll do our best to do one of the mentioned. And yeah, once again, thanks for watching. If you love what we're doing and you'd like to support us, you can go to philandphil.com, where there's a donation button, and your donations will be really gratefully received, so we can carry on with our work and keep going.
Yeah, and subscribe to our little newsletter there. I like to send out controversial stuff. So
no controversial stuff, never.
No.
Well, I guess it depends what wavelength you're on as to whether it's controversial or not. For us, it's not controversial, and if you're new to our channel and you're new to what we're talking about, then maybe it might be controversial. But we're not sending it out to be controversial. We're just sending it out because this is the stuff that we are investigating. And,
well, it's the thought-provoking information. I think that's what we'd call it. So.
Oh, cool. Thought-provoking on that. Yeah, I like that.
And yeah, I pick stuff that makes people, ask questions. That's what I like. So ask questions about what's going on. They can help people have a better life.
Brilliant.
Great. Thanks, everybody. We love you.
Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Tim and Anne, our top fans, and Wendy, who's gone. So we appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Love you.